The world tells you to follow your passion, to do what makes you happy, to live your truth. But this modern mantra, while it sounds good, has left a lot of men feeling weak and lost. Why? Because a foundational truth of building a meaningful life has been forgotten. A man's most important work isn't always doing what he feels like doing. It's about doing the hard things, especially when he doesn't feel like it. Hashtag section 1. The trap of passion. Let's be honest. The modern world has sold you a beautifully packaged lie. The lie of effortless fulfillment. It's the idea that your life's purpose is some kind of treasure hunt, and the map is marked with the X's of your fleeting passions and good moods. You've been told the goal is a life without friction or discomfort. This philosophy, whispered from every screen, isn't just wrong. It's a trap that has left men anxious and unfulfilled. This promise of a life guided by passion leaves a man totally unprepared for the pressures of reality. It sets an expectation for constant emotional highs, and when those highs disappear, which they always do, the result isn't resilience, but failure and confusion. We've traded the compass of duty for the weather vane of feeling, and now we wonder why so many men are adrift. It starts with the idea of the dream job, a mythical career where every day is exciting and motivation is endless. The man who hasn't found this magical job is taught to see himself as a failure. He job hops and endlessly searches for himself, not realizing that the self isn't something you find, it's something you build. And you can't build a fortress out of sand. Here's the problem. Passion is a flickering candle. It's bright and beautiful in the moment, but the first gust of wind blows it out. It's the initial thrill of a new project or relationship, but it's not a foundation. It's not what gets you out of bed on a cold Tuesday morning when the work gets tedious. A man who makes passion his only guide is a slave to his own internal weather. He only works when he's motivated. He's only disciplined when the mood strikes. When his feelings don't support the action doesn't happen. The promise is broken. The duty is abandoned. Contrast this with the man of duty. His North Star isn't a feeling, it's a commitment. A commitment to his word, his family, his principles. His actions aren't dictated by the turbulent seas of his emotions, but anchored to the bedrock of his character. He knows passion might be the spark that starts the fire, but discipline is the will that keeps it burning through the long, cold night. The lie of passion creates consumers of experience, not creators of value. Men who scroll, looking for the next hit of inspiration, waiting to feel like it. But the men who built the world didn't wait until they felt like it. The farmer tilling the soil doesn't ask if he's passionate about pulling weeds. He does it because the harvest depends on it. The father working a second job doesn't measure his day in units of fun. He does it because his family's future depends on it. This is the truth we've forgotten. A man's value isn't measured by his passions, but by his discipline. It's found in what he's willing to endure for a cause bigger than his own comfort. The most important work often feels like a war against your own weakness. And in that war, victory is forged by duty. Hashtag section 2, the power of duty. So what does it mean that a man's job is to do things he hates? Let's be clear. This isn't about seeking out a life of pointless misery. The word hate here is a weapon against your weaker self. The things you hate are the guards standing at the gates of your own potential. They are the tasks your comfort-seeking, dopamine-addicted mind will do anything to avoid. It's the hate of the alarm clock shattering the warmth of your bed before sunrise. It's the hate of the cold barbell on a winter morning. It's the hate of starting that difficult conversation you've been putting off. It's the hate of pushing through the final, grueling rep, the last mile, the boring but necessary work. It's the hate of apologizing when your ego is screaming at you to make excuses. This is the hate we're talking about. It's the friction between your lower, impulsive self and your higher, aspirational self. A man is defined by his choice to favor the latter again and again until it becomes an instinct. That's the law of duty. Duty isn't a chain that restricts your freedom. It's the fortress of your character. It's the internal command that holds you steady when emotion, doubt, and despair try to tear you apart. When motivation vanishes, and it will, duty remains. When passion fades, and it will, duty remains. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal about the struggle to just get out of bed. He had to remind himself of his duty, telling himself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? That's the voice of duty. It's the understanding that your purpose isn't to be comfortable, but to be useful, to contribute. Modern psychology has even rediscovered these principles, giving them new names like grit or long-term goal orientation. But these clinical terms can sometimes lose the soul of the original idea. To speak of grit is to describe a stone. To speak of duty is to understand why that stone was placed in the foundation of a cathedral. The man who lives by duty asks a different question. Not, what do I feel like doing? But, what must be done? He understands that real freedom isn't the absence of restraint, but the disciplined choice of which restraints to live by. By choosing the restraints of duty and honor, he frees himself from the worst tyrant of all, his own moods. And this isn't a path of joyless servitude. It's the opposite. The deep, unshakable satisfaction that comes from a day of disciplined action is a feeling the comfort seeker will never know. He chases a fleeting pleasure that turns to ash. The man of duty, by embracing hardship, earns a profound self-respect, the only true and lasting happiness. He can look himself in the mirror and know he didn't betray his own potential. He did the work. Hashtag section 3, the pillars of duty. So how do we build this life? On 3 pillars. These aren't suggestions. They are the load-bearing walls of a man's character. Pillar 1, discipline over desire. First, discipline must rule over desire. Desire is the voice of your primal self. It seeks pleasure and avoids pain. It whispers for more sleep, more junk food, more mindless entertainment. It's the siren song of mediocrity. Being a man means hearing that voice and deliberately choosing to ignore it. Discipline is the counter voice. It's the voice of the king, the architect of your future self. It's not a feeling, it's a choice. A muscle that only grows when you use it, especially when you don't feel like it. Every time you choose the discomfort of discipline over the comfort of desire, you cast a vote for the man you want to become. Think of it in 3 domains. First, discipline of the body. Forcing your body into motion when it craves stillness, through exercise, through labor, is the first act of defiance against your own weakness. A weak body often houses a weak will. Second, discipline of the mind. In an age of infinite distraction, the ability to focus is a superpower. Discipline is the will to close the tabs, put the phone away, and sit with a single, difficult problem until you've solved it. A disciplined mind is a sovereign mind. Third, the discipline of the spirit. This is honor. It's keeping your word when it's inconvenient. It's telling the truth when a lie would be easier. It's holding yourself accountable. Discipline is the forge. Desire and laziness are the impurities. Every act of discipline is a hammer blow, striking the raw material of your character and tempering the steel of your soul. Pillar 2, legacy over feeling. The second pillar is choosing legacy over feeling. A feeling lasts for a few moments. A legacy is the echo of your character that rings through generations. The world tells you to optimize your life for better feelings. The truth is, you should optimize your life for a better legacy. Ask yourself the hard questions. Will your good mood pay your family's bills? Will your contentment build a business? Will your fleeting happiness comfort your loved ones in a crisis? The answer is no. Feelings are just data points. They are a terrible guide for long-term, meaningful action. To prioritize legacy is to plant a tree whose shade you may never enjoy. It is to lay the bricks of a cathedral you may never see finished. It's the sacrifice of present comfort for future strength, not just your own, but that of your family, your community, your name. This mindset forces you to think like an architect, not a tourist. The tourist wanders, taking pictures of pleasant moments. The architect has a blueprint. He endures the mud and the noise of the construction site because he can see the finished building in his mind. He's driven by the blueprint, not by how he feels each day. Your legacy is your blueprint. What will exist in the world because you lived? Will it be children of strong character? A body of work that helps others? A reputation for unshakable integrity? Legacy doesn't have to be grandiose. A man who raises his children to be honest and resilient has built a legacy more powerful than a man who builds a skyscraper but abandons his family. Legacy is the positive impact of your disciplined existence on the world. Feelings are about you, right now. Legacy is about others, then and there. Choosing legacy transcends your own ego and connects you to something larger than yourself. Pillar 3, the forge of hardship. The third pillar is embracing hardship as a forge. Our culture markets a frictionless existence, selling convenience and comfort as the ultimate goals. This creates an environment that, while materially comfortable, is spiritually corrosive. It produces men who have never been tested and who, therefore, don't know their own strength. They are like ships that have never left the harbor, pristine but unseaworthy. The truth is, hardship isn't a bug, it's a feature. Strength isn't developed in a state of ease. Muscle grows only when it's forced to tear and rebuild against resistance. Courage is born only in the presence of fear. To deliberately shield yourself from hardship is to deliberately choose to remain weak. This is why a man of duty walks towards difficult things. He sees a challenge not as a threat, but as an opportunity to test his limits and temper his character. He's not a masochist who enjoys pain. He's a strategist who understands that the short-term pain of voluntary hardship is the price of long-term strength. He chooses the voluntary hardship of a workout to inoculate himself against the involuntary hardship of poor health. He chooses the voluntary hardship of confronting his own ignorance to shield himself from being manipulated. Think about the figures from history you admire. Were their lives easy? Or were they defined by how they responded to overwhelming odds? Hardship was the anvil upon which their greatness was shaped. Struggle isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're pushing against a boundary. It's a sign that you're growing. You want to be a man who isn't just unbroken by chaos, but who actually gets stronger from it. So don't pray for a lighter load. Pray for a stronger back. ####Section 4. The transformation, forging the man of honor. So what happens to the man who lives this way? He doesn't become a joyless robot. That's a caricature painted by the enemies of strength. The reality is a paradox. By willingly embracing difficulty, he earns a profound, unshakable satisfaction that the comfort seeker will never understand. It's the satisfaction of self-respect. The man who chases feelings needs external validation, the like, the compliment, the approval of others. His sense of worth is outsourced. The man of duty generates his worth internally. His validation comes from the quiet, powerful knowledge that he met his own high standard. He was tested, and he did not break. This is an inner peace that no amount of pleasure can buy and no amount of criticism can take away. He builds what the Stoics called an inner citadel, a fortress of character, unmoved by the chaos of the external world. His center of gravity is internal. But here, we have to correct a dangerous mistake. Some men equate this discipline with emotional suppression and self-reliance with total isolation. They think to be a rock, you must be unfeeling and alone. This is not strength, it's brittleness. A rock can't adapt, it can only break. True masculine strength includes the wisdom to recognize its own limits. A commander who refuses to call for reinforcements out of pride isn't a hero. He's a fool who is about to get his men killed. Part of a man's duty is to get the resources needed for victory. Sometimes, the most crucial resource is guidance. And this is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of command. Seeking the wisdom of a mentor who's already crossed the terrain you're on. Consulting with a therapist, not as a confession of brokenness, but as a warrior sharpening his psychological blades. Meeting with your brothers in arms, not to whine, but to analyze the battlefield and fortify each other's resolve. Seeking help is a sign that you are so committed to success that you're willing to humble your ego to achieve it. A strong man doesn't let his ego sink the ship. The transformation, then, is not into a man who feels nothing. It is into a man who is not ruled by his feelings. He still feels fear, but he acts with courage. He still feels anger, but he responds with justice. He has made his feelings valuable advisors, but never, ever the king. This is the man of honor. He is hard for the sake of being a reliable, formidable, and generative force for good in a world that is soft and chaotic. ###CTA. If this message resonates with the man you are striving to become, then comment "Duty is my north" below. It's not just a comment. It's a declaration, a commitment to yourself and to the men alongside you. And if you believe this is a truth the world needs to hear, subscribe and share this message. The strength of one man can inspire a legion. Conclusion. So we return to where we started. A man's job is to do the things he hates, not because he loves punishment, but because he understands the path to every virtue is paved with the stones of overcome resistance. The things you hate to do are the markers on the map to the man you admire. The path of comfort is wide, easy, and it leads off a cliff of regret. The path of duty is narrow, steep, and unapologetically difficult, but it leads to the summit of your potential, the summit of self-respect, the summit of a life well lived. From that vantage point, you will look back and see the monuments you built through sacrifice. You will see the lives you touched through your unwavering commitment. You will see the legacy you forged with your own two hands, a legacy built not from moments of feeling good, but from years of doing good. The choice is yours every single day. The world has enough men who follow their feelings. It is desperately short on men who follow through on their commitments. The world doesn't need more men who feel good. It needs men who do good, men who build, men who protect, men who provide, men who endure. Be that man. If this message shook your spirit, don't walk away quietly. Do these 4 things. Keycap 1, comment 1 word. Ready? Keycap 2, like the video, because it pushes this message to someone who needs it more than you know. Keycap 3, share this with a brother who's silently fighting his battles. Keycap 4, subscribe to Stoical Mentors, because this is the place where men come to rise, rebuild, and become unstoppable. This is your moment. This is your rebirth. This is your new chapter. And remember, greatness is not an accident. It's a commitment. And today, you committed. I'll see you in the next message, warrior. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. Stay unshakable. Stoical Mentors.